It's Monster Month, and today we're transforming Pointy Hat into a villainous D&D monster.
Got a good evil laugh.
Today we're looking at Antonio D'Amico, better known as Pointy Hat. They've got a YouTube channel with over 90,000 subscribers, and they've only been uploading for 6 months. Pointy Hat is best known for their series With a Twist, where they take concepts that already exist in Dungeons & Dragons as we know it in 5th edition, and then they put a little twist on it. One of my favorite videos that they do is when they take the Beholder and then they add a little bit of twist, push it one step further. As we all know, beholders are megalomaniac. They think that they're better than everyone else, that they are perfect. But Pointy Hat puts a little bit of a twist on it. What if they thought that they were just that much better and they wanted to perfect themselves? Every night dreaming, further perfecting their being until they made themselves
a god.
I am a god, you dull creature.
What if I could synthesize down Pointy Hat into a D&D monster? One that would draw players into terror, knowing that anything could happen when the Pointy Hat enters their brain. Let's take a couple of the things that we know about Pointy Hat, and let's see how those elements can mix together to create a new monster. There's a couple of things that I think are important to capture about Pointy Hat. Number one, Pointy Hat is influential. Gaining 100,000 subscribers in 6 months, crazy. Pointy Hat has an ability to capture people's attention, perhaps even nefariously so. Number two, Pointy Hat is very intelligent. The things that Pointy Hat does to create the new monsters, the D&D with a twist, are pretty amazing. They have a lot of insight into how the game works and to how to make it more fun at the table. Not only that, they're extremely artistic, which I think is a great sign of intelligence. And number three, there's no doubt in my mind, Pointy Hat is 100% evil. I mean, maybe. Probably. Well, they have to be, because I'm making them into an evil monster. When creating a D&D monster, it's important to know and think about how the encounter is actually going to go and what will make that encounter fun. One of my favorite tropes in TV and in movies is when the heroes or the protagonists have to fight one of their own. One of my favorite examples of this in media is when Jean-Luc Picard is possessed or taken over by the Borg. I just remember that being so intense growing up. Or when Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z had Majin inside of his mind and became evil. Well, more evil than he was. I don't know. How much worse did he actually make Vegeta? I'm not sure. I think that there's no better use for Pointy Hat being a monster hat than for that to take control of one of the party members' minds and for the party to have to fight one of their friends. With all that being said, let's get to work.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I have created Pointy Hat in 5th edition D&D. I took a lot of inspiration from the Mind Flayer and, interestingly enough, the Astral Elf Aristocrat as well. I thought it would be a good idea to make Pointy Hat an intelligence caster, even though I could see him being charisma, but Pointy Hat is going to essentially take over somebody's body, and I felt like intelligence was the best way to show the mind control effect. Here's Pointy Hat's stat block. I know this is a lot of text, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down for you in plain English so you'll understand how to best use Pointy Hat in an encounter. So, Pointy Hat's main ability is the mind control ability. Mind control allows Pointy Hat to take over the mind of a player character and use their body and their hit points to fight their allies. So here's how the encounter should go. The party encounters Pointy Hat. Now, Pointy Hat can be anywhere, in a city, in a forest, it doesn't really matter, but I think that there should be some setup for Pointy Hat. Number 1, poison the party. And this is an important step in the process of fighting Pointy Hat, because Pointy Hat is going to try to mind control one of the individuals, and that is going to be a contested intelligence skill check. Now, if the party is poisoned, then that means they have disadvantage on their skill checks. Now, when Pointy Hat mind controls an individual, their consciousness is flung from their body. They still have a somewhat corporeal form that they are able to attack with. They still have everything that they are wearing and carrying, but they have a level of exhaustion as well. Now it's time to have fun, as the barbarian, which was once on the party's side, is now hurling an axe right at their face. On purpose this time, not like they did at the tavern last night when they had one too many ales. It's important to understand how the mind control works. Pointy Hat latches on to the top of one of their heads. While Pointy Hat is on that character, they have the HP total and physical characteristics of that player character. They're able to use their attacks, their spells, they have complete reign over that character's body. Any damage that Pointy Hat takes while latched on to a mind-controlled host goes on to the host themselves. Once that host is reduced to 0 hit points or becomes unconscious, Pointy Hat must leave the body. Once Pointy Hat exits an unconscious body, the consciousness of that player character returns back into the player character's body. They return being unconscious but at 1 hit point.
Warning, 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 danger ahead. Pay close attention.
Now, this is a dangerous monster to put in your game for multiple reasons, but the biggest thing is it can become unfun quick. You really have to know and have trust with your player group to use the Pointy Hat monster. Because here's the thing, players don't like it when they don't have control. Agency is an important part of D&D, and if players feel like they don't have any agency or control in a situation, then they feel like, well, why am I even here? I could go be doing something else instead. That's why the way that I created the mind control mechanic is the player is still able to act. They still have their equipment, they still have their agency, they can still do stuff, but at a slight cost with a point of exhaustion. I think that that's a fair enough trade to have this really fun opportunity for roleplay and interaction with the characters. But remember, the number one reason that everyone shows up to D&D is to have a good time. And you as the Dungeon Master are there to facilitate that. I think it's always fun to make our players scream and cackle in fear every now and again. But it's also important to know that when you're doing that, make sure everybody's enjoying themselves. And maybe this would be a fun way for some players to role play out how it feels to attack one of the other party members. Does one of the party members have beef with that player? Well, maybe they'll enjoy swinging at them. However, maybe another one finds it super difficult, like, I don't want to cause harm or damage to their body. What happens if they come back? You can find the full stat block for Pointy Hat over on D&DBeyond. I'm going to have it linked in the doobly-doo, as well as Pointy Hat's YouTube channel and their Twitter. You can go check them out. I really recommend supporting them as a creator. They are incredible. And don't forget, there's more monsters to come this way this month, and I think you're going to be really interested for who I have planned for next week. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then please leave a like, hit subscribe. I'll be making more monsters all this month. You're not going to want to miss it. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck out there, adventurer.